All right, we're all set for Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition by Jiseed. So if you're ready, take it away.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to point this out that this is being run on version 1.32. This isn't the version you can buy right now. The one you get now is, I think 2.5, something like that, and a lot of the glitches are patched out now, so. Alright, so we're going to go to character creation here. Elf matters because we need the bonus to find traps. Sorcerers because we get the free spells. Lawful Evil is for some dialogue choices. As far as the stats go, the only thing we need are Charisma, 16 Constitution for max hit points, and 19 Dexterity for armor class. Everything else doesn't matter. Proficiency, Quarterstaff's fine here, and then we get Expeditious Retreat and Find Familiar. This doesn't matter, so we'll just choose that. It's the best voice. And what was the name we were going with?
The donation is for Natalie, N-A-T-A-L-Y.
L-Y, not like that?
Yes.
Perfect, okay.
That's great.
All right, so we can start
begins
now.
Very well.
So we just have to mash the dialogue here and then set up for the first major glitch that we do. If you've ever seen an Infinity Engine run, you'll be familiar with it. It's called the multiple dialogue glitch. So the first thing we did there was a quick save and load to get rid of the round timer on casting spells. You see that was the multiple dialogue glitch. It's done by despawning the thing you're talking to, and we use a familiar to do that there. And it allows us to select hidden dialogue options like this one here. This lets us give him the list, even though we're not supposed to be able to do that yet. And we do that 2 more times in order to get a little bit more XP, because we need to get shield to make the next part a little bit safer. So you see now we have 7,200 experience points. Expeditious Retreat doesn't allow you to cast spells, so we have to wait for it to run out to cast it again. So we get shield here. And then we can skip the entire prologue by simply mashing through this. And he thinks we got the list, so we're ready to go.
The others are assembling as we speak. Are you ready to leave as well?
Let's see, here we are. Oops, that was a mistake. Gotta load.
I see, certainly.
So yeah, we'll just do this again.
Return here as quickly as you can. There you are. All is
It's really important that we
speak.
rest here, but as you can see, it can fail, so we got a quick save. It worked that time, so we'll cast shield. Shield's important because it gives us a lot of AC against missiles. And we're going to be running through a gauntlet of goblins. This is probably the first big run killer. The only way they can really hit us is if they get a critical hit, but without shield we would have been dead pretty much 3 times there already. Alright, so we gotta go and talk to Hrothgar. I don't know what the real quick way to go through this dialogue is, so I just mashed 2.
Go to the Vale of Shadows. Learn what you can about the happenings there, then return here and we shall discuss a course of action.
So for the next part, we have to actually visit the Vale of Shadows in order to trigger the dialogue we need to use the multiple dialogue glitch to skip the first chapter. So normally we would have to go through there and talk to Kreselak, kill a bunch of people, and then finally we'd be able to get done with that. But we're just going to do the multiple dialogue glitch the same way here. Use the familiar, and then we get it again. This allows us to select the number 3 dialogue with him right here. See how there's only 1 here. Go down to 3, and it makes it seem like we actually did the entirety of that quest. So now we have to go to the temple. The temple is actually a really nice place because no matter what, you can always rest there. There's no chance of things getting interrupted. And then we're back to Kuldahar. We still have the multiple dialogue glitch, so we're going to use that to complete it. We don't have to go through the temple.
Done.
It's important that we don't select number 3 because that'll crash the game, because there is no dialogue option number 3, and it just go straight to crash the desktop.
Wary of the creatures that dwell within its depths.
Alright, so we're going to make a little detour here to get some XP. This is how you get into the Heart of Winter expansion. So we go to Multiple Dialogue 2, and that lets us bypass the level 9 restriction on being able to go to the expansion.
Are you prepared to depart? We have to travel swiftly and safely.
So while we're here, we get
When you stand
all the XP from the quests here, even though we shouldn't be able to do them yet. You'll see how much we have right at the end. I'll show you guys. So this guy, we just have to do his werewolf quest. Nice and simple. Multiple dialogue, and we completed it. And you can see we can get 1.7 million experience points from that. Alright, so we're going to set up another multiple dialogue glitch because we ran out of space on the last one.
You have no small task.
That one didn't work because I was too quick.
You have need, certainly.
There we go.
I am by
So we're going to get a little bit more XP from the guy up here. It's the Glacial Rose quest. It gives you about 1.2 million.
certainly.
Just have to go through the dialogue. There's quite a bit of it. And go up to multiple dialogue 1. And boom, there we go.
Yet indeed.
So there we go. We got 3 million experience points, and we can level up a bunch of times here, get all the spells we need. Spell choice really doesn't matter too much. We just need a couple key ones like Dimension Door and some of the defensive spells. Alright, this one's actually important. We need to have both those two. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so now we have improved haste that lasts a lot longer than Expeditious Retreat. We'll be using that pretty much entirety of the run. And we still have the multiple dialogue glitch active from when we were in that temple. Alright. So now we go to Burial Isle. This is the way we get back to the main game after we got all the XP we need here. See the Dimension Door spell. It puts you at a spot that you clicked on. However, you can do it between maps. Like you can see here, we do it there, and we will pop up in the same coordinates on this map. Allows us to do a lot of sequence breaking. Alright, so this is how we get back to the main game here.
What? Yeah, however, if the soul seek your proof, this is note.
There we go. Well, now we're out of the Heart of Winter expansion, and we're back to the main game.
I see.
It should be noted that I got so much XP from those quests because I'm playing on insane difficulty. In insane difficulty, you get 100% more XP from quests and killing monsters. Alright, so we need these level 3 spells are very important. You'll see that later on in the run.
As you
Like I said, you always succeed at resting there.
certainly.
Alright. So we're here at Dragon's Eye. You're going to see this a lot as we're going to do the buff spells before we go inside. Main ones are Stone Skin, Mirror Image, and Improved Haste. Also some sort of invisibility spell. We use a variety of those throughout the run. In Dragon's Eye, there's actually a nice set of boots over up in the northeast corner. They give you 40% enhanced movement speed, but they're part of the randomly generated items. And I found no way of manipulating them to show up consistently. So again, we're going to be using Dimension Door to teleport around here, saving a lot of time. I'd like to say that this is really heavily based on Julian's route of the original Icewind Dale. And pretty much every single one of these teleports is what he did in his run. At least when the stuff in the base game. So right there we talked to that undead lieutenant guy. He stops the undead monsters from attacking you down here. I think you have to be evil to get that dialogue option, but I'm not 100% sure about that. As far as why we're here, I really don't know this game's story very well. I looked it up on Wikipedia and it still didn't make much sense to me. I'm more of a Baldur's Gate guy and Icewind Dale too. But from what I can tell, it's basically just your normal D&D go kill the evil monster scenario. So here we got to cast Spell Trigger. And you can see in that menu by clicking on the optional dialogues or the spells that weren't in the list there, we were able to get out all of our level 4 spells back. See, we were at 1 dimension door, and now we are at 6. All right.
Very well.
Got a moment for some donations?
Absolutely, do it.
There's a $100 donation from Vagabond that says, "Great event for a great cause. Donation goes to the Heart of Winter bonus run. And remember, kids, just say no to THACO." $10 from GK that says, "Good luck, Jiseed. Let's get that bonus run met." And $100 from Seriously Surly. "Good luck with the Icewind Dale run, Jiseed. I'm coming after your time as soon as I finish with BG2. Thanks to everyone for their enthusiasm and support."
All right, so this walk here is really dangerous. It's the second point of the game where you're going to be seeing a lot of resets. But for the purposes of the marathon, we go and take Iron Golem form, which makes us immune to all the traps. It costs us a little bit of time because we have to wait a little bit before we can cast Time Stop here. And we can kill the odd little girl with Mind Flayer, but it doesn't advance the plot and we get soft locked. So we have to talk to her in Time Stop, wait for her to transform into a snake person, and then we can grab the Heartstone gem from her, which is what we need to advance the plot. So on the way back, if we get any traps, I'll have to go back into Iron Golem form. If you don't get any traps, you can just go straight back into natural form and be able to teleport, but doing it this way, we just have to wait until the knives hit. You can see them right there. And then you can quick save and load and be able to teleport pretty quickly still. So yeah, these guys were hostile to me before, but since I talked to the undead, the lieutenant over there, they're back to normal. And we can set it up so we can do a quick invisibility here. This next part, there's a bunch of enemy monsters trying to eat you up. And we just use Shadow Door, and we're good. It's not really super dangerous to be hit by these guys down here, but you do want all the monsters to stay in place because look at how big their hitboxes are, and they can start clogging up these little narrow passageways and costing you a lot of time having to use Dimension Door past them. Alright, so that's it for Dragon's Eye. It's a lot easier in this game than it is in Icewind Dale 2. I have to say it's the worst part of Icewind Dale 2 by far. Alright, so now I have to go back to Kuldahar. And we'll give the Heartstone gem back to Arundel here. But it's not Arundel. It's an imposter. And the real one's up here, and he's dead.
It is to the south.
So now we have Severed Hand unlocked, and we'll have to go there for the next part of the quest. This next part we have to do, I think, the last multiple dialogue glitch in order to save all the time possible at Severed Hand. Usually there's a lot of side quests involved there. It's actually kind of difficult to keep for this long because we can't quick save or load, but there are backup strats, so if things go crappy, we can fall back on those.
Following?
Alright, so this part, it's important to pause here because there's a 2-minute cutscene if this guy triggers his dialogue before you can pause. So we give him the talk lock. That's done by talking at him, and they wait for you to show up at him. And, oh my god. So I was too slow there, so we'll just watch the cutscene. It's not a big deal. But, yeah, you can do some donations.
I was going to say, I'm going to jump in here with some donations then. I've got $20 from Callum Shar with no comment, and another $20 from RPG Mel 710, also no comment. Thank you very much. $11.07 from HXC Noel. Had to donate during the Icewind Dale, as the Infinity Engine games are among my favorite games of all time. It's cool to see several D&D games in the marathon. And $25 from Lawston Churchill. RPG Limit Break is an event that is close to my heart. This event has helped me through some incredibly dark moments in my fight with bipolar disorder, so I can't help but donate for Nami and for those watching at home who might be going through something like what I've been through. As hard as it is to realize in the moment, there's always brighter days ahead.
Alright, so now that cutscene is done, we can go through Shattered Hand here. I do have all feedback turned off for the multiple dialogue glitch because it goes away if you get too many damage numbers and stuff like that. I don't think that cutscene will affect it, but we'll see. Anyways, we did that spell sequencer back in Dragon's Eye in order to get our spells back, but we use it here in order to kill this elf because she has the Boots of Speed, which makes us move really, really fast. We can't get past these guys, so we have to teleport behind them. And this next part is a little bit tricky, because if these guys follow me up the stairs, the quest givers at the end turn hostile to me. So I'll pause, and I think we're safe. Alright, so we have to do this 4 times. We use the multiple dialogue glitch for 3 of them. Okay. If we do it anymore, it soft locks the game because this guy won't talk to us anymore.
Then you will have, even if you do decide to venture.
Doing that saves all of the side quests there in Shattered Hand, and there's quite a few of them.
On your map. Also,
So we're going to do our trifecta of buff spells again here as we go through Lower Dorn's Deep. And this part's not too bad. Just going to cast Mirror Image because I missed it there. So yeah, it's just walking through this cave here. We need to go on a little bit of a side venture here and kill one of the endgame lieutenant guys. We need his mark in order to get to the second to final boss. Cast the spell Mislead here. That makes so I'm invisible in this area as long as my clone is alive. Allows me to cast Dimension Door without being caught. Alright, I'm going to get my Dimension Door spells. Like I said, we got this here, and we click on the empty spot, and we get the spells back. We need to get more flame arrows for killing the next guy, and away we go. So again, I use Mislead so I can cast my spell sequencer to kill this guy without alerting the guards. It's really important for lag reduction. Alright, so the next part coming up is why we had to choose an elf. Elf has the bonus to find traps. I think it's 30%, and I think humans is 20 or 25 or something. Because at this part we need this to turn purple, and we do that by find traps.
I see.
Obviously, if you're a thief, you can just use a thief to do it, but since we're doing a solo sorcerer, you gotta just rely on the natural check.
I've got a $50 donation from Luke Rideout. Hi, Jiseed. Luke from Beamdog here. Just wanted you to know that the IE team is watching the run up on our big screen. Good luck.
Alright, thank you, boys.
And if you want to see that Heart of Winter bonus run, get your donations in now. We're just short of it.
Alright, I'll talk to this guy. His dialogue sometimes get in the way. Alright, so now we gotta go invisible for this next part. So we have to find this Dwarven Lich's phylactery here. It's just hanging over here on this shelf. And then we go over here and magically it disappears. As I've mentioned before, I have no idea what goes on in the story of this game.
Very well.
It's a $25 anonymous donation that says $25 more if we fill that couch. Show him some love. Looks like we got some friends joining us now. Thank you very much.
Done. I see.
Alright, so for this next part, these guys can see through invisibility, so there's no point in going invisible here. And we're on to the next chapter. This is the Ice Palace. It's quite short, even not in a speedrun. It's just one simple area with this large palace. What we need to do is to go into the bottom left and get the sigil from the Frost Giant. So we can do that normally by going and repairing the bridge, but I found a much more fun way of doing it. So we're going to use Dimension Door again. Have our familiar talk to this guy. And then we can talk to our familiar to get him back. And we're over across the bridge. So this part here, because we cast that extra spell, and because there's some scripting issues in 1.32, we have to have a spell trap for the last boss. So we'll set that up here and get our spells back. Alright, so we need to have Mislead first, then Haste, and then get Stone Skin. And you can see we got our Dimension Doors back from the Stone Skin.
Done.
Just mash the dialogue, we get the badge we need. And then we'll cast Mislead here so we can teleport without the wolves following us around everywhere. Alright. So we go up here and then we have to cast Invisibility because if we do it too late, the trolls will follow us in the next area and we can't rest and we need to get our spells back.
No small task.
Alright, so we'll wait until the combat ends. I think that's a round timer, so not much you can do about that. Cast our defensive spells, except for invisibility, because we don't need it quite yet. And then we're on to chapter 6. Do a lot of creative jumps here. Again, shoutouts to Julian for his original run. Go ahead, do some donations if you want.
Absolutely. There's a $25 from Anonymous that says, I keep my promises. Also, $100 from Senko0 with no comment. Thank you very, very much. We're getting really, really close to that Icewind Dale Heart of Winter bonus run. We're up to $1,336, so keep them coming.
All right, so we have to talk lock this guy. He's been known to, even in time stop, hit us up for a nice quick chat. If we do that, we'll have to reload. And this time he decided not to. It'd be Chatty Cathy. That's all right. So we have to kill all these guys with the Mind Flare. Mind Flare kills things by reducing their intelligence to 0, which means they're dead. These guys are immune to... I think they're immune to Devour Brain, so we have to use Iron Golem, which is pretty high damage. They don't attack you for some reason. I think it's because I'm still misled. I never really looked into it too deep. But at any rate, we just kill them, and that makes the actual guy spawn, because this guy was, of course, a fake the entire time. So we talk lock him. He can teleport over here, so it's important to keep him where he's at. Alright, so yeah, we just devour this guy's brain, even though he's got all the defensive spells up. He's not immune to Devour Brain. We grab his badge, and we're off to the next part. It's important to note that after going into a Stone Giant form, you have to put on your Boots of Speed again. For whatever reason, that gets rid of the bonus.
Certainly.
Alright, so we can sneak past these guys, chug an Invisibility Potion, and we're on to the next area. Do a little bit of setup here because we still have to kill a couple guys, and the fastest way is to use those flame arrow spell sequencers like I've been doing the entire time here. Alright, we'll get our dimension doors back and then do this. We do need to get flame arrow for 9 uses, so we'll have to get that back too. Quick save and load. Renew improved haste, cast dimension door, and then we want to use the potion of invisibility immediately because that way these guys don't clog up the hallway over there and make things difficult for us later on. We're going to talk lock to these giants because it'll help do lag reduction after we kill Maiden Ilmadia. I'm going to level up so I can get bonus damage on my fire arrows. Oh, wow. Doesn't really matter, she's already dead, but we need to get that Potion of Storm Giant Strength for the final boss. But yeah, her talking to me means these guys are after me, which means it's going to be pretty laggy. I'm going to load the autosave once we get to the next area, because that'll stop them from following me.
Very well.
Alright, I'll load the autosave here. Oh, I'll just load this autosave, fine.
Done.
Apparently that part doesn't autosave. Anyways, those giants should stop following me around. They can be quite the hassle, especially if you don't kill the idol later on in one hit.
I see.
Alright, so we'll set the next spell sequencer, which is again flame arrows to kill the idol that's coming up. There we go, we got our 3 spells back, so we're good to go. We don't need to worry about Dimension Door anymore. We talk to him, I think that's a charisma check. And then we'll cast, where is it? Shadow Door. We're invisible, they can't see us. And off we go to the idol. I'm gonna level up again. Oh, that Stone Dart did follow me, wow. Level up again to get better modifiers on my flame arrow again.
Very well. Indeed.
Alright. So, this can kill in one. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does, and there it did. So that's good. You don't have to worry too much about that. So we have all the badges. We collected them from the various guys, and we can finally go up here.
Indeed.
So this next part's pretty good. Oh, I got blocked by the chickens. That's nice. You can see what I mean about the fire giants. We have to talk to him, or else
If you seek resolution,
I don't think he can be
I
killed.
shall give it to you.
So again, we just use the tried and true tradition of eating people's brains, and you see he has an animation placeholder because he's not supposed to be killed. Alright, so I'm going to do a couple rebuffs here. And another spell sequencer. Alright, so this next part here, we can't enter into the tower yet. We have to go talk to the priest. He's the priest in the town at the very beginning of the game, and he knows how to get in. So we figure out how to get in, and to thank him, we kill him. The reason we kill him is because it skips 2 lengthy cutscenes later on. Well, I guess just coming up here. First in this room, and then in the final boss room.
Very well. As you wish.
Alright, so the last rest here, we'll do improved haste so we move a bit quicker. You can skip this entire room by simply locking the main guy there. He was the merchant at the beginning of the game, if you remember. And then we go to the final boss. So normally, I would do all of my buffing in that rest room, but with the way it works out in 1.32, the scripts are broken on this guy, and he comes up and he talks to you. And for whatever reason, that really screws with his remove magic contingency, and you can't beat it with spell immunity abjuration. So that's why we have to buff up here. So I made that spell sequence earlier, and then we go, drink the potion, and then swap it with this one. That makes us able to drink the Potion of Storm Giant Strength, even though we're not a warrior. And once they've killed our mislead, I gotta lead them over here, and then quickly go back over here, and cast Time Stop. These guys in particular are pretty dangerous, because they can hold you. There's nothing you can really do about that. So these guys are, this guy, the main boss, Belafet, he's immune to magic damage. I found no way to hurt him at all with magic. So what we got to do is use physical attacks, and being a sorcerer, you know, that's pretty difficult. But to make it easier, we just use Blackblade Disaster, which is a +5 weapon, and Tensor's Transformation. And hopefully this will kill him. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You gotta roll the dice. Obviously in time stop, every hit works. So there we go, time.
Awesome.
That's that. Did we make the donation for Heart of Winter?
Unfortunately, it looks like we did not quite meet the
Ooh.
incentive for the Heart of Winter bonus run.
That's too bad. You guys could have watched me fail. Yeah, that dragon is quite
Actually,
the customer.
we may have gotten some donations in just now.
All right.
We've got a $160 donation from Axoden, which will meet the Icewind Dale Heart of Winter bonus run. Thank you very, very much for that.
All right.
A couple more donations here. I have
go ahead.
$50 from Fallstar. Love this event. I look forward to it every year. Great games and for a great cause. Thank you to everyone involved. And one more $5 donation from, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, Zakataken Jack. $5 that says, hi from Australia. Just remember, kids, Thaco is for life.
All right, so Heart of Winter. Got to choose a little bit of different spells here. More or less the same. We need protection from cold and haste, since we don't have level 7 or 6 spells right at the start. Dimension Door obviously is important, and we need lower resist and spell immunity, because spell immunity does help here. I won't even bother with that stuff, and I'll just do Natalie again. And here are we ready to go? There we go. Well, you see, this is where we were at earlier on in the normal speedrun. We start at level 9 instead. Principles are more or less the same. We got to do multiple dialogue and get XP. So we'll set that up here. All right. That was too quick.
Very well.
Perfect. All right, so we'll go and complete the werewolf quest again. And unfortunately, the other one we did won't be enough experience points, so we'll have to do it twice. So there should be noted that in Icewind Dale there are 2 expansions. The first one is Heart of Winter, and the second one is Trials of the Lure Master. I've never done Trials of the Lure Master, even as a speed run. I don't know much about it. We talked to Murtaugh twice here. We bring his dialogue back, and we go and we do it twice and get experience points both times. So now we have just enough experience points to get level 9 spells, which are essential for the final boss here. I don't think we need too much there. Get Shadow Door for fun. Alright, so we need Mislead. Protection from magical energy is very important, and I'll get Contingency just because. We need this, 7 Eyes, and where is it? I think that's it actually, yeah. I think we're good. Oh, I need another spell. And then we need Epidasm, Mind Blank, and Spell Trigger again. And instead of getting Blackblade Disaster, we get Chain Contingency and Time Stop. Alright, so we rest up here. Alright, so the big, now here's where it changes from what you see normally. You have to talk to this dwarf to unlock the map to the Barbarian camp. And normally you go here and you get kicked out, you get sent to Burial Isle, and you got to solve the mystery of what's going on with the barbarians. However, but by using Dimension Door, we just skip all of that and go in the back way. And we can even skip going inside the tent and talking to the guy that takes us to the final dungeon by teleporting over here. Normally you have to go inside and then exit out here and talk to this guy, but we can just teleport across, talk to him, and here we go. Alright, so I gotta cast Shape Change again, so I have Mind Flare. Do Mislead so we don't trigger any accidental dialogues. It should be noted that Heart of Winter is notorious for being a very, very short expansion, and that's why they made the Trials of the Lure Master free. Alright, so killing those guys lets us into the palace here. Rest up so we can get our buffs going again. We need to have as many level 9 spells as we can for the final boss. And things get pretty dicey in there. Cast Shape Change again. Oh, did I cast Dimension Door? Or Shadow Door? Anyways, Shape Change again so we can have access to Mind Flare. There's nothing fancy here. There's no need for Dimension Door, so probably a good time to do any donations if there are some.
Certainly. A $100 donation from Dragoon Zero to Jiseed's Choice. Captain Saroja donates $54 and says, "It's all about faith and a deeper devotion. Good luck to the runners." And a $1 donation with no comment from Furry Boss Monster. Thank you very much. Every little bit helps.
It's pretty barren in here. None of the monsters here can detect invisibility. Even when you're going through here normally, it's not too tough of an ordeal. This next room is a whole other matter, though. You have to do a whole ton of buffing here in order for us to get through the final boss without too many hitches. We have to use Spell Trigger in order to use level 5 spells, because we need lower resistance for the final boss. Mind Blank helps against some of the confusion stuff that the Sahagins inside their cast. I'm not 100% sold on Seven Eyes, but I'm sure it helps, because it gives you an immunity to a stun effect, and the Umber Hulks in there can hit you up with that. Spell immunity, Abjuration, because there's a Dispel Magic in there somewhere. And of course we have protection from magical energy, which makes us immune to the effects of Abudazi's Horde Wilting, which we're going to be spamming quite a bit of. Alright, so these traps are kind of annoying. There's a poison trap right in the middle there, so we're going to teleport over here. And to keep our invisibility, we cast Chain Contingency on ourselves with 3 Abudazis. And that should keep us stealth. Now we're going to the final boss. This is a noteworthy encounter because I think it's the first time you see a dragon in the Infinity Engine. It's not quite as epic as some of the stuff in Baldur's Gate 2, but it's still an interesting fight. We're going to be living a bit dangerously here, because I think I forgot to cast protection from cold, so her frost breath's going to hurt us. Anyways, the general strategy for this fight is to just spam the contingencies. Since we have infinite cast because of being able to bring back our spells, we can just run around until she's downed. But once she's down, ooh, that's what I said about her being quite the rough customer. So I'm pretty sure that was from not having protection from cold. Alright, so back at it here.
Find the door has sealed behind you. Shall we put an end to this?
So this one do nearest enemy, because that way we can direct it over to her. It's nice to kill her underlings, but most of the time you're not going to get the chance. So that was just a tour there. Sometimes you have to cast 3 change contingencies. As you can see, the whirlwind's still on me, and it does still hurt you during the cutscenes. So I'm going to go over here and cast Time Stop. That's really annoying sometimes because there's tons of ways to get interrupted, either from the wind or from the monsters. It's just no good. But time hopping over there, we avoid all the spells from the gem. We kill her soul gem, which kills her more permanently, I guess. And the game's not quite over yet because we still have to walk outside. And time. So you can see why that's quite a short expansion. I think my PB is around 5 minutes and 40 seconds, so don't get a huge value out of that. Well, yeah, that's Icewind Dale. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Another shout out to Julian for the original route, and of course to the old school SDA Infinity Engine guys, because most of the tricks in this run were taken directly out of their book. So yeah, thank you guys. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jiseed, for Icewind Dale and the Heart of Winter bonus run. We'll be taking a very short break here and coming back with an interview in just a moment. Thanks for watching. All right, I'm going to be turning it over to the interview couch. J-Hobbs interviewing HeroicSpiritGamer and Vulajin.
My name is J-Hobbs, as just mentioned. This is HeroicSpiritGamer and Vulajin. And we're just having a little staff powwow, I think, here. Just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look. We did this last year, too, with talked with Poexel and Essentia, just about some of the things that they do to help make this week-long marathon happen. So first off, I just wanted to get, what are your guys' actual roles as staff members?
Everything?
Basically everything, it seems like, at least. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with like Tech Wizard and Supreme Overlord. That ought to work.
Okay.
Fine, sure.
But no, I just like this is obviously not going to be a very easy question to answer, but like in the most basic terms, can you try to like throw out an idea of what the tech setup looks like for an event of this scale, kind of, as opposed to like at home, you just got your game, threw a capture card into the computer usually, and you just stream with that. A lot more going on here, right? And I know you're not going to be able to answer this super simply, but.
How many cables do you think we have up
Oh,
there?
man.
How many feet of cable do you think we
Feet
have
of
up there?
cables? That's 5 digits at least.
Wow. So like we have to have, I mean, for this interview area, right? We have lighting that is very bright and is just shining straight in my face. And that's
Yep,
just a
it
thing
sure
you
is.
get used to. There's a camera there. There's a big old 100-foot cable running that camera feed all the way into that back corner where the stream PC is. And then there's a bunch of other cables going to that. And then, God, the mixer. I don't even know how many.
All right. Okay. Well, let's maybe change it up a little bit because there's no simple way that we're going to be able to answer this.
No.
What are some things that you think people might not think about when it comes to tech, to keeping this marathon going?
Do you want to tell the story?
Oh, stories are what I'm here for.
Oh, boy.
Let's
Okay.
hear stories.
All right. Okay. So like we get to this hotel, right? This is our first year at this venue, and we have no idea what the internet situation is like. And the hotel staff, we are like, hey, we kind of need to make sure that we have a guaranteed amount of bandwidth. And they're like, okay, cool. We don't really know exactly how to do that. Like, what does that mean? And we had some help from Cool Matty from Games Done Quick, and he's like, oh well, you need quality of service, and they're like, I don't know what that is. So we're gonna call the internet support for the hotel. So they did that, and they put us on with them,
Directly.
and we talked them through setting up the things we needed. So we basically are in charge of the hotel internet, effectively.
Entirely, yes.
So it's your fault that it's so slow in my hotel room.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, we set a limit, right, on the
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we made the Wi-Fi have a maximum, and our own line has nothing. We can just take whatever.
All right. Well, let's talk like redundancies, right? Because this is a marathon. Like we do not stop the stream unless we're doing it because you can only stream for so long on Twitch. Like that's the only time we restart the stream unless there's some kind of severe technical issue. What kind of goes into that? I mean, I think that's something people don't really think about a lot.
Well, I mean, we mentioned before all the cabling. So most of our cabling is a lot of redundancies there alone, actually. So we have a whole bunch of different ways to capture various game feeds and audio feeds, and we have extra cables. I mean, even before this event, we were doing our shopping list. It's like, okay, what do we actually need? 4 of those? Okay, buy 9.
Right.
Or 10. Or, oh, we need 200 feet of this cable. Buy 600 feet of it.
Right.
We just go wild because you just want to have the redundancy and the spares.
And it's nuts how many times that's come up in this event alone already,
It,
right?
it happens every single year. I mean,
Yeah.
right now we have, I think, 3 dead cores and a dead headset back on the broken shelf.
Yeah.
We definitely have mute buttons that have died
We
on
have-
us from out of the box.
I did hear right before this that the mute button that we have on the host might be bleeding,
Oh, no.
even when they're not pressing it. So yeah, things like that. We were looking at the stream layout just now during the break, and one of the bid wars didn't look quite right.
We think you guys just saw 90 seconds of ads. We're not
Maybe.
sure. we have heard that there might be an issue with that, but it all comes down to just how do you get the skills to kind of fix all these things, or how do you take it all in stride as you're moving through, because the show must go on, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of just do it by trial, do it by fire almost. I mean, I've only been doing this for this event for 4 years. I showed up 4 years ago and was insistent on helping him, and he didn't even know who I was at the time. And
He helped plug cables in.
Yeah,
I
a
don't
lot
need
of
more
them.
than that.
a lot of cables, and even by the orientation the next day that he gave, I knew what I was doing enough to be at least a backup to him. And so for that entire event, I was helping out with all the volunteers, even though I didn't know basically anybody, and it was my first year here. And 2 years later, I was already staff, and now I'm officially second co-partner, whatever, to whatever we are.
Tech wizard, I told you.
Wizard, yeah,
sure,
sure.
fine.
Okay, yeah, great.
And I don't really know how else to explain it,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean, mine was the same way, except it was 2 years earlier at a different event called Crystals for Life that I went to, and it just ended up like, oh, there's almost no one here. We need to do all these things. I guess maybe I'll just volunteer for 24 hours straight. Just do everything. Maybe help run the tech setup, maybe help do hosting, process donations for a bit, and then let me do that twice.
And I was gonna say, and nowadays you get like 20 more minutes of sleep than that. So it's great.
That's that's a popular misconception. I slept the other night. I slept for 8 hours.
We made sure to make sure you guys actually get a little bit of sleep this week. Well, I mean, I think we'll just kind of keep it there. Thanks for talking to me, guys. I did want to also just say that, like, I think one of the reasons, one of the things I was getting at there is that I think both of you have the attitude of, like, listen, the show must go on. Literally.
Yeah.
It like, we don't stop, and if a setup starts taking too long, it's how can we get the setup done, not how can we get it done right. We'll figure out how to get it done right before the next setup, or we'll figure out how to get it done right before next year. At a certain point, it's let's get it done. And I mean, I think that's the big quality of just like you guys are always open to have anybody with questions immediately ping you when it comes to our volunteers and everything.
Yep.
So maybe we'll I think we'll probably have this chat again in the future sometime, maybe where we can, I don't know, walk people through the tech setup a little bit or something like that, show them the mixer, something like that. Get some behind the scenes footage.
I don't know if the viewers at home can handle that.
It is larger than him.
It's larger than me almost. I mean, that thing is massive.
I can't carry it. I cannot carry the mixer. It's too heavy.
Very big. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to just very quickly say that we do have prizes still open throughout the week, including the This Be Book Bad Translation video games book that is right here.
Exclamation
I'm not going to hold it up for too long because we're just going to go ahead and recommend that you go to the website for all the details. That one in particular is donated by Legends of Localization as a $10 minimum donation, open through the next run, Dark Souls. So be sure to get in for that. Very funny book, and really goes into a lot of bad translations, basically, in video games. Other than that, just keep an eye on the website. Click the tracker link so that you can see all of the prizes that we have throughout the week. And thank you guys very much for joining me. I think all of us are starting to get sick, so I'm not going to shake your hands. And instead, we're just going to throw it back to the host.
I'm fine.
Well, I don't want to get you sick. You got 8 hours of sleep. Let's keep it that way. All right. I'm going to throw it back to the host. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. That was Jay Hobbs interviewing HeroicSpiritGamer and Vulajin. Coming up will be Dark Souls Any Percent PC by Bubbles Del Fuego. We'll
this
be
is the
doing
part where
a
we
short
have
break.
to
When
we need our crew to notice that this ended.
Get started.
Remember we were talking about tech issues? I don't.
Yeah.